Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to 23 ABC News at 11 a.m. I'm Mike Hart. Topping our news this hour, on Capitol Hill this morning, Ukrainian President Zielinski giving a rare virtual address to Congress, asking the U.S. for more aid in his nation's war with Russia. President Biden speaking about an hour ago, saying the U.S. is sending $800 million worth of military support without meeting Zelensky's request for a no-fly zone. In Ukraine, Russia is escalating its attacks. ABC's Elizabeth Schultze has more from Washington.
With his nation under relentless fire from Russia, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky making an impassioned plea to the U.S. for more help.
I'm addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation. I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace.
In a rare virtual address to Congress, Zelensky pleading with the U.S. to put in place a no-fly zone over Ukraine. President Biden is all but certain to once again reject that request, fearing it could bring U.S. troops into a direct fight with the Russian military. Instead, Biden detailing how the U.S. will provide $800 million in new military support to Ukraine, including anti-aircraft and anti-tank missiles. It's part of a $13 billion package of military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine the president signed into law.
It's about making sure Ukraine will never be a victory for Putin, no matter what advances he makes on the battlefield.
The war's toll mounting by the hour. Russian missiles leveling a residential neighborhood in the eastern city of Kharkiv. Bombardments intensifying in the capital city, Kyiv. The UN now says more than 3 million refugees have fled Ukraine since the war began. A source tells ABC News that number could double in the next week.
The most important thing is that we've proved Putin wrong. The Ukrainians, because they fight so courageously, and we as the Western world, because we stand united.
A source tells ABC News morale is low among Russian troops. Today, a fourth round of peace talks between Russian and Ukrainian officials is in its third day. Elizabeth Schultze, ABC News, Washington.
Meantime, House Republican leaders addressed the media shortly after Zielinski's remarks. Local Congressman Kevin McCarthy saying the U.S. must not waver in our commitment to help the people of Ukraine fight back.
I thought President Zielinski was very powerful, as many of you watched. He made the case very strongly. When you think about what President Biden should do, I think there's a bipartisan movement right here. Provide them the MiGs. Provide them the planes where they can create a no-fly zone. Provide them the armament that they need to continue to fight a war that they did not create. I thought the video was one of the most moving moments in there. Made the case of the murdering of innocent people, that war crimes are being committed, that America and the world cannot sit by and ignore.
McCarthy was critical of the time element, though, saying he had conversations with President Biden to provide the equipment much earlier. The U.S. and NATO have both ruled out any role in a no-fly zone, trying to ensure that this conflict does not escalate beyond that country. All right, let's switch.